So throughout the course of this year, Nicki Minaj has done a lot to garner a lot of attention, right? Whether it's beefing with Mac Wop, beefing with Cardi, going back and forth, getting involved in some really nasty mudslinging over and over again. For the most part, her fans have been riding with her, sticking by her side, and the controversy hasn't really been, depending on who you are, what side you on, it hasn't really been to the point where people are just saying enough is enough. Some people have, especially with the Cardi B situation. However, she's not done. If you don't know, recently she responded to a post by Donald Trump concerning the genocide in Nigeria. And a lot of people not only did not like it, but are saying this is the last straw for them, especially her fans. And why she's doing this, I don't know myself personally, but we're gonna get into it, man. So I got some video we're gonna react to, and we're gonna talk about it because it's interesting to see her choose this as her fight, particularly seeing how we have enough issues going on here right now, not to discount any sort of genocide. Definitely something needs to be done about that. But for her to make that her fight and team up with who she wants to team up with, instead of calling out some of the other stuff and standing up for the people that's right here in our own backyard is interesting to say the least. But let's get right into this video.
Donald Trump is again claiming that there's a genocide against Christians going on in Nigeria. Is it true?
The world is literally praying for Nigeria because of what is happening to Christians. Over the last few months, there is a death tally of about 3,000 Christians who have been targeted and killed by Islamic rebel forces such as Boko Haram. And of course, the Nigerian government has been slow to do anything about it, which has caused Donald Trump to respond on X. And he writes, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing. Woo!
Hey man, listen, again, make no mistake about it. I don't mind there being some intervention from whether it be the US or any other nation. But there's a few things. Number one, they just keep on finding things to distract us away from what's going on. Hell, what the fuck is going on with the Epstein files? Huh? What's up with that? But we got our own issues right now. Find ways like, okay, so we get into the point where you're talking about going to that now disgraced country, guns are blazing. Look, I don't know how you handle that. I'm not going to act like it, but let's not get distracted from what's really important when it comes to us. And I think he's trying to make this like it's more like he's trying to make this his new fight as a distraction. Y'all can deal with this. Y'all can handle it. But it's just one thing after another to get people off topic. That's kind of how I'm seeing this, honestly.
Completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack,
we don't need to go to war. Look, you if you go in there and you kill the Muslims, more going to come back. That's not the answer. Like I'm not. No, that's not the answer to go to war with them. You'll stop. What are you going to do? Leave troops over there? I don't know. I'm not going to act like I know the answer, but this is where we at with this anyway.
It will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Woo! Now, as you know, Republicans are usually conservative evangelical Christians, so they're standing with the fallen Nigerian Christians who are being assassinated by these Islamic terrorists. And of course, Islamic terrorists are also the people, if you paint the broader brush, who don't like Israel. So it's very easy for Donald Trump to take this stance. And of course, when Donald Trump posted this on X, Nicki Minaj posted this.
Nicki Minaj supports Trump. For context, she's responding to how Trump is going to do something about the Nigerian Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer.
Now,
Okay, so I'm kind of confused. Does Nicki Minaj claim to be a Christian? Because if so, I got a problem with that. Now, granted, I am a firm believer in God and Jesus Christ. I don't necessarily classify myself under that Christian classification. I did initially, but not now. But definitely a believer in God and Jesus Christ. All this, it's funny because you got a woman who, after all the things that she's done this year and all the hate that she has spewed, now claiming that she is insinuating maybe that she has some Christian belief. I don't know, man. I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not here to judge nobody, but I do find this a little, I'm a little incredulous. Let's just say that, okay? Because I find it hard to believe that someone like that holds these beliefs. And not only that, where's all this same energy at for what's going on in your own country, in your own homeland? For, I might not say atrocities, some may classify some of these things as atrocities, but definitely about some of the things that's being done to your own Black people right here in this country. Why can't you speak out about those things as well?
of course, there were people who were really not feeling this particular post from Nicki Minaj, as well as Donald Trump.
It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China. And it's not just what's underground, is it? It's the land, the middle belt.
Yeah, because, China been moving in on Africa as a continent, period. I don't know what all countries they're in right now, but they definitely been making moves over there. And this would be the same old playbook in the U.S., right? They don't give a damn if Muslims is being killed or Christians is being killed. But if there's something they can get out of it, then yes, they will turn it into some sort of cause, into some sort of fight, into some sort of, we need to get justice, and go in there like they're going in there to liberate or save somebody. When in actuality, this would be about resources and control. And it wouldn't really be about saving them, because if they couldn't get anything out of it, they wouldn't even be acknowledging it.
Grows the food that feeds the nation, fertile, rain-fed, high yield. And guess where the most violence hits? Right there.
This lady has a theory. You see, the reason why Donald Trump is interested in Nigeria is not because he cares about Christians. No, he wants these resources. And
I can believe it.
It is true that a lot of these resource-rich countries around the world, Venezuela, we've seen it also with the Congo, they want to have an interest in these countries just so they can control the resources. So this lady is saying, listen, don't be fooled about what Donald Trump is trying to say. They just want the country for themselves, okay? Mm-hmm. And they're tying all this back to Nicki Minaj, who, number one, you either just don't know or you have your own agenda. And that's what people are trying to point here, that Nicki Minaj has an agenda to support Donald Trump.
Nicki Minaj's first time showing support to President Trump. I'm not sure why everybody thinks this is her first time publicly showing support to him. Maybe y'all didn't catch on to it because this was the same day that she was going off on Cardi. But there were a lot of things that she said that day that she was going off on Cardi that really truly showed her true character as a person.
Right.
Okay, she attacked Kamala Harris. She called President Trump the POTUS and thanked him.
She cites her beef with Cardi B as the main reason as to why she's supporting Trump. And this isn't the first time that
How
Nicki
does that
Minaj
make sense?
has taken such a stance. And again, people are coming after her for being.
Wait, so because Cardi supported Kamala and the Democrats, so Nikki's taking out, that makes absolutely no damn sense at all. Like, that's just stupid.
A big time MAGA supporter because she's thanking Donald Trump for what's going on in Nigeria.
All right, so we're going to end this right here, and then we're going to jump over to Nolan's video because he talks a little bit more in depth about this.
Them up in prayer. The same woman who said they were going to kick a child in their teeth just weeks ago is now coming out to try to position herself as some major Christian, speaking up for religious atrocities, but completely ignoring the religious atrocity taking place in Gaza, right? Not trying to take a moral high road here, but I'm just saying, if you're going to stand up for one, perhaps you should stand up for them all.
Yeah, that's the whole point too, right?
Or at least one of the largest in the world. But of course, this isn't about Christianity. This isn't about worshiping God. This isn't about any of that. This is about her pledging allegiance to Donald Trump and putting it out there to his constituents that she is ready to play ball and is trying to get down with the squad. Now, interestingly enough, her doing this has struck a chord in some of her fans. Many of her fans are still following her into destruction, but some of them are pulling back and saying, yo, this is too much. All right, so this person here says, Nicki, as a diehard fan who genuinely sticks beside you through every single scandal, you cozying up to this fucking loser, I might actually have to tap out. We live in a country that wants to weaponize religion, so your gay fans can be pushed into a corner and silenced. And of course, that's always been an issue in our country is LGBTQ rights. But under this particular regime, they are not all that open. You know what I'm saying?
It is interesting that she's doing this right now. Like, what is she looking for? What is her goal with this? Is she looking to use the same tactics as far as like galvanize your base using controversy and things like that, right? It's a bad strategy if you ask me, but you end up with a bunch of radicals on your side when you do that. Yeah, you got a strong base, but it's a bunch of radicals, and it can definitely hurt you in the long run. I don't think it's a good long-term strategy for sure. So I just don't get it, man. What is her goal from this? What is the reason? When she has to know, again, like he just pointed out, a good portion of her fan base is definitely totally against this, man. It's interesting, man.
They're doing their best to misgender people based on, whatever they feel. They prioritize biology over what people identify as and really don't give a fuck about LGBT. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, they're trying to go back to the old ways. That is the MAGA thing. Make America great again. Go back to the olden days, back when white cis men were in power and everyone else had to yield to said power. Yesterday, she came out with this promotion of her upcoming album, 3/27/26, with this American flag with a photo of herself saluting. Okay, she's trying to make herself the hip hop face of nationalism. I'm sorry, Miss Nicki Minaj.
Damn.
But Tom McDonald.
Now, make no mistake about it. I myself personally don't mind someone being patriotic, black, white. I don't care about that as far as that goes. But this here transformation is very interesting, man. This is crazy, especially for somebody like her, who, man, what's going on with these people, y'all? What's going on with these people? Is it the money? Do they get detached? Are they just not in the same crowds like what is happening, man? This is crazy.
Has already done it. Okay. Right next to it, she's got an AI generated photo of herself sitting in front of a chessboard. I guess, letting us know she's making chess moves, right? And apparently it seems that she wants MAGA to participate in her album. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she doesn't have enough right-wing fans, and this is her segue into that audience.
And you know what? It's crazy. Maybe she's taking the same approach as the rest of these grifters, right? The Officer Tatums and Hodge twins and things like that, where, you know, Nicki's definitely obsessed with being the biggest female artist and all of that and the numbers and stuff. Same as Drake. And that's not to take away from her career overall, but maybe she's afraid that her album might not do as well. I don't see how it would. Well, after all of her antics, it may not. And especially now, but maybe she feels like if she reaches out to that base and she brings in that base, that there would be a huge increase in her fan base that would translate into numbers that would allow her to be able to gloat when her album drops. And if that translated into some sort of success that would, one, put her over her nemesis, Cardi B, and all of that. So that's kind of diabolical if you think about it, though. If that's the reason, of course, I'm just spitballing here. If that's the reason, that's kind of diabolical, and it's really shitty, honestly, to do that just so you could have some self-serving reason of, because you want to get a larger base, despite what that may represent. Right? There's nothing wrong with reaching out to different audiences and all of that, but the intention, though. And I feel like with somebody like Nicki, it would be all about her in that sense.
Because let's be all the way clear, she don't give a fuck about none of this shit she's talking about,
exactly,
inserting herself into,
right,
or anything going on in this motherfucking country. And she went out of her way to prove it last night on Spaces with her fans, who actually got on there and complained about what's going on in this country, to which she did not respond very well. This page read, media came out and said Nicki Minaj is now following Trump's advisor on X after coming out as a proud MAGA Barbie today. Now her foolish fans are scrambling, with many of them rushing to defend her, even though supporting Trump goes against their existence, considering the fact that 98.9% of them are members of the LGBTQ community. Now, I don't know what the exact percentage is. This is their opinion, but they posted this screenshot of Alex Brusewitz, or however you say his name. And of course, he puts Christian, Trump advisor, CEO of X Strategies LLC, America First Always, followed by Nicki Minaj. Okay? It's very interesting when you see people that put Christian as their name, even black folks. I don't be trusting them. They put them in the first description that they want you to know is Christian. Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. I take that as a diversion.
I understand what he's saying, especially with, and then when you got people who like overly religious, overly righteous and godly. Yeah, I always got my suspicions too.
Furthermore, she got a response from Ambassador Mike Waltz. He came out and says, Nicki Minaj, thank you for using your platform to speak out in defense of the Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. And to be clear, when I see people put Christian as the first qualifier on their social media, I have nothing against Christian people. I've identified as a Christian in my years. I'm just saying, people who make that their identity, they typically are using it to shift you away from,
well, especially in politics. I wouldn't even so much say necessarily in someone's personal life, the average everyday person. I wouldn't so much say that, but when it comes to politics, I do think it's usually a manipulation tool.
From something that they're trying to hide. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with people who are Christian. I love Christians. I love God.
Right.
I love Christ.
Right.
But people who try to make that, well, you could do your own research.
I understand, brother.
They say, thank you for speaking out in defense of the Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. We cannot allow this to continue. Every brother and sister of Christ must band together and say enough. If you ever find yourself in New York, come by the U.S. Embassy to the United Nations. I would love to speak with you in more depth about what our administration is doing to protect Christians' freedoms all over the world. But nowhere in here do they even speak on Christians' freedoms in the US of A. I'm sorry, but I find that suspicious. To which Nicki Minaj responds, I'd be honored. Thank you, Ambassador. Now, she was recently in New York and somebody was advising her to get the fuck up out of there. I think that was in the midst of the No Kings rallies and stuff like that, and niggas fighting back. And you know, I didn't used to know this, but Nicki Minaj is not actually a US citizen. So I think that's why she was being advised to get out of New York, was to hopefully evade ICE and all of that type of stuff to not be deported. I don't know the status of everything, but I never knew that. One of her fans comes out and says Nicki Minaj makes history as the first female rapper to receive an invitation to the United Nations. She says, come on, Barbs, let's make America gag again. Okay? They are being adversely affected, to which she showed very little empathy. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to play one particular interaction out of the many that kind of give you an idea of how this went.
Unmute yourself, big one.
Morning, Queen.
Good morning, King. How are you?
I'm making it. On my way to this job that barely wants me there, but I'm still pressing through.
Why not?
Well, you know, since this new administration came in, people of color don't get the same treatment that we used to.
Good night, big one. Okay.
Damn.
I knew it was the reason I wasn't following your ass.
Damn.
Nikki, can I speak? My bad.
That's kind of crazy. That's how you treat your fans, though, because that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes, please, Niger Princess. Thank you.
So she kicked him the fuck off the stage and said, I knew there was a reason I wasn't following your ass. All right. He said he hasn't been getting treated fairly since the new administration came in. He's on his way to work, a job that he really doesn't feel wants him there. And she showed no compassion and kicked him off the motherfucking stage, muted his mic up, and moved on. And there's others that she did this same thing to. If you would endeavor to listen, I will not. I did, but I'm not finna play it on here. We've got another article over here, okay, that says Nicki Minaj deletes post. Nicki Minaj's praise for Donald Trump drew heavy criticism online. Many said the rapper was ignoring other communities while speaking up for Christians. In response, Nicki hit back on X, writing, imagine hearing that Christians are being murdered and making it about you being gay. She added, when my home was swatted multiple times with my innocent toddler inside, with maybe 20 officers with guns drawn pointed at our home due to political corruption, she says, you being gay couldn't save me. But she's been out here promoting specifically very heavily to gay people for the past 15 years of her career.
Yeah.
At one point, even acting as if she was bisexual, although there was never any proof that she was. Her so-called Roman character is allegedly, I won't even say allegedly, she said was a gay man character that lives inside of her.
So is she doing like the rest of these politicians and just being whatever she has to be to whoever she has to be it to in order to galvanize that base? Has she been grifting off the LGBTQ community all this time? And now because maybe she feels like they're not going to serve her purpose, she's going to start grifting off of another base, the conservative base? This is a really bad idea, I think, man. But it would also highlight how phony some of these stars and these entertainers are, right? How not true to themselves, how they'll do whatever they got to do, especially when they're so used to a certain level of stardom and like they get desperate. There's like a desperation that sets in and they'll just do or say anything they got to do to remain relevant. That's kind of, it's just almost to me reeks of just desperation, but it's going to backfire, man.
She continued, expecting someone to stay oppressed, abused, targeted, harassed, and consistently ignored by public figures who were supposed to be helping them says more about you than it does anyone else. Nicki later deleted the post after the backlash. Okay? So this is one that actually got deleted.
And a part of this is her fan base's fault too. In by continuing to encourage her in some of her really bad behavior. Then she gets to the point where she thinks that no matter what she does, they'll stay on her side, right? It's just, there's a little bit of enabling going on, but a lot of it is her. You know, the majority is her, but there's also some accountability on the fan base too, in not checking her when she's out of pocket on other things. It's only a natural progression that people egotistical like her will eventually get to this point right here, right? Because the one thing that matters most isn't the fan base. It's no base. It's the ego. Everything else is sacrificed to that ego.
But this is what she thinks of her gay fans. Not to mention her fans that spend their hard-earned money on her albums, her tours, her meet and greets, all of these different things. If you are not in alignment with this current mission that she's on, she's saying, fuck you, I got new fans on the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that's my point, right? Exactly. That's my point. And so she's ready to sacrifice a fan base, or a good majority of a fan base that has helped her build her career and kept it stable, even through her nonsense. But because she thinks that might not be enough to put her where she wants to be, she's ready to sacrifice that to make that move. And she's calling it chess. She's playing chess. Again, it's all about her ego. It's not about the people. She doesn't care about you at all. She only cares about Nicki. She don't care about Christians in Nigeria. She don't care about niggas in New York. She don't care about none of that.
What I got for y'all here, man, Nicki Minaj loading. I can only imagine what it's going to be like by the time her album gets in, rollout season. I can only imagine what she's going to release. I can only imagine what type of shitstorm we're going to receive when the album actually comes out from all these people that she's now trying to recruit to become the new Barbs. But let me know what y'all think of all this.
It'll be interesting to see. And I wonder if she's going to include maybe features with artists on that side, right? Or anything like that. If she's going to have events. I guess this is where we at now, man. I guess this is where we are. I'm interested to know, for you, those of y'all who are listening who are Nicki Minaj fans, do y'all agree with this? Are you on board with this? And I'm not talking about intervention in genocide. I'm talking about Nicki and what she's doing and why she's doing it. Do you believe that her intentions are pure? I don't see any impure intentions in this. I don't see any of this being about the people, whether it be Nigeria or the US. I don't think any of this is about a fan base and her caring about. She doesn't care about that. And that shows by the small clip of her cutting somebody off who's a fan of hers, who probably been supporting her since day one, who knows, and not even acting like that she cared about what they had to say, because it's not aligning with what I don't even want to say what she believes, because I ain't even sure that she believes it, but the path that she's about to embark on. Let me know what y'all think, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.